Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of
We Got Ish to Say, an Everyday Vibe
podcast. I'm your host Amanda.
And I'm your host Kay.
And we're back with another episode to talk about some things that we hear a lot. Mercury Retrograde?
What the hell is Mercury Retrograde? What?
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of up your alley.
Microbraids?
Microbraids. Well, not quite.
Box
braids. Yeah, exactly.
No, Mercury Retrograde.
Right.
Yeah.
And Enneagrams.
Y'all heard of Enneagram?
We're going to talk about it. But before we get into today's episode, this episode is brought to you by
Everyday People at Sunglasses brand. This is a unisex brand for men and women. Most of the styles are going to be for, your everyday wear, for your looks, whether you're in the club, whether you're going to, a high classy event, or, you just want to be a little shady. Ooh. We got shades for everybody. We also have affiliates links. Once you shop and your friends shop, you can get a piece of the pie.
Hey, we love that.
Like literally you get to shop and then make money?
Correct.
Come on.
Where they do that at?
Where they do that at? They don't do it at Forever 21.
At all.
They don't even do it at Ray-Ban. I'm putting
Get
y'all
into
on
it. Shade. You see what I have shades on?
We are so excited to have you guys on the show today. Make sure you guys subscribe and like and comment. Now let's get to the show. What are we talking about today?
Mercury Retrograde and
Enneagrams. That's a new one for me. I had no idea what Enneagram meant. Amanda actually just brought that up to me right now because what the hell is an Enneagram?
I'm not super deep into them and familiar with them, but I'm so sorry, I'm gonna edit that out.
She texted me.
Whoa, deep. No, Cap.
She cat.
Cap. We gonna get a button, y'all. We gonna get a cat button because it be real amongst our friends. Cap.
We should have a cat button for sure.
Because you playing with me. Anyway,
I'm lying, I guess.
We all know not to listen to Kay. No, when it comes to me, don't listen to Kay.
Anywho.
Enneagrams. I'm not super deep into them, but there are something that I'm very much aware of because they're almost people, it's do the test and see what your love language is. It's almost the same thing for Enneagrams. It's do the test and see what's kind of your personality type. And so obviously you're going to see yourself in a little bit of all of them. Okay. But it's the one that sticks out to you the most. The one where it's you read it or you hear it and it's ooh. You just feel that. Yes, you feel every bit of that. Hey, that is what an Enneagram is. That is your dominant one. Okay. And then you'll have 2 wings. So those are the numbers that are closest to you. So say you're a 3, your wings are either your 2 or your 4. Okay. And it's whichever one is the next one that you feel more connected to. Okay. That's kind of your balance number. So you balance between those 2. And then you'll have 2 other numbers, which are the numbers that I know, right? It's a lot. It's kind of deep. So this is the number that you kind of operate in when you're at your healthiest and your safest. Oh. And this is the other number that you operate at when you're stressed. Enneagrams, they can get kind of deep. And I really, again, it's almost like zodiac signs and numerology. If you're a Gemini. Yeah, exactly. Okay. It might just be because I'm religious and whatnot. I don't read into it too deeply because I'm each person's an individual. You can't tell me that a number on you or your sign makes every single one of us in this box. Right. We're individuals. So we're going to have our own quirks and different things, but it does hit deep. And I'd be oh, okay.
Okay. So question. Mm-hmm. How did you find out anything about an Enneagram?
So Enneagrams first came up for me when I was working at Starbucks. Okay. I have a friend. She's my other half. Her name is Amanda also.
Oh my God.
And so she was talking to me about it one night on a shift. And I was okay, whatever. I was hearing it, but I wasn't really taking it in. And she's all do the test, see what you are. I have no idea what number I got. I don't remember because I wasn't deeply invested in it. Yeah. Funny enough, the church that I follow, y'all know, Transformation Church, Pastor Mike, his whole little squad, because they absolutely believe in therapy and theology and like everything is just not, the answer is not always just in the Bible and in church and whatnot. They really look into and study other things, and like it's something that their friend group also looked into in the midst of like going to therapy, group therapy, and their own individuals therapies together. They looked at like their Enneagram numbers, how they operate in their number, and then how them being that number operates within their friend group. And so now they can understand each other and be like, okay, like you're this, so let me realize that like this is why you operate like this. Like Pastor Mike, I think he says he's a 9. Okay. I have to look at that again. He says it sometimes in sermons randomly when he's explaining things, but I think he's a 9, which means that sometimes he's very unemotional. Okay. Like that means like he don't really care. Like you can be crying in his face and he like, what we crying about? Like we gonna figure this out and fix and move, or like what we doing? So
that sound like
and
me.
Like I'd be like, and so his friend group knowing that about him though, it helps him to operate and be like, so we're not gonna go to Mike when it comes time for this, that, and the other, because he's not gonna get it. Like we gotta go to so and
he's a pastor.
Yes, exactly.
That's interesting.
So, but see, this is what I'm saying. Like, you know, we a lot of times function inside of our titles and our this and our that. But like, what are the other parts that make us up? Like, if we strip that title away and we think about like the real like core of us and our emotions and whatnot, why do we operate the way we operate? And what is this? So, yeah.
Yes. So like I'm gonna kind of go off a little bit. We gonna stay in the same like topic, like astrology, enneagrams. I'm spiritual. Mm-hmm. Not very religious, but spiritual. I didn't really like mess with astrology back in the day though, because I was more religious, and I was like, I was told like no. Right. But as I started to read and do more research, I really understand astrology. It makes sense to me. I get it into my like natal chart. Natal chart is a more breakdown of like who you are. Your natal chart is a breakdown of who you are based on astrology chart. Everybody has basically all the 12 different signs, you know, they are based on the planets and all that. So it basically tells you what is in what house of what planet. And like Amanda was saying, it breaks down further into who you are based on your personality, like the talents that you have, the type of jobs that you want to have, the type of partners you seek, like your love, like all of those things. It just breaks it all down.
That's a lot in one spot.
It is. So, okay. It is. And it's amazing though, because like, obviously, like you said, it's hard when you are, say, like you're a Gemini and I'm a Gemini. Mm-hmm. And we like, well, we totally different. Well, obviously you're totally different. One, because of your environment. Right. You know, your age, your environment, you know, our birthdays could even be the same day and we could be different. Right, absolutely. But it's also based on your chart, the time you was born, your like genes, like the environment, like all these things that play a role into who you are. And that's basically like what determines like all these other things. Also, like I love numerology as well. And within that astrology portion, you get your life path number.
Yes.
And so
I'm familiar with that. Yeah. I've done like the thing before and gotten all of mine.
Based
I was
on your
like,
birthday.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah. It's crazy how it really does kind of read you for filth sometimes.
Literally. No, like it literally does. My life path number is 4. Okay. I'm a very strong humanitarian. The Aquarius sign is more humanitarian, but my life number is also 4 because of my birthday. Y'all probably don't know how to do the life path number, but basically what you do is you take your birthday and you split it apart. You do some subtracting, adding, and then you come up with your life path number. I think you take, if you like 2-digit, of course you'll take your, like mine is 27, so I'll take 2 and 7. I'll add those up, and then if it's still like a large number, I'll divide those until you get down to a number 1 through 9. Right. And then that's how you find your life path number.
Funny enough, Enneagrams are 1 through 9 also.
See? That's what I'm saying, man. And the months. Like even the months, 1 through 12, the planets, 1 through 9, I think they said.
Right, because we've gotten rid of Pluto as a planet.
Yeah, or however many planets it is. But anyway, we know that's all like energy and stuff. So why wouldn't it be like something, even though I wouldn't say like die hard, you know, to have all the faith in these things. Right. But knowing about it is like, it really helps you develop and grow to who you are. I think some people say like they don't believe it because it's like, well, if this is telling me this, then why not just like try to gravitate towards what it's saying? But I don't really think so. That's if you're not that type of person. Like some people need something to feel connected to correct. You know. But some people like they just want an understanding of like why do I always do this? Or
Mhm.
why do I always react this way?
Mhm.
And a lot of the times it's like innate. Like you just literally cannot help it. And I definitely looked into some of the stuff that I do and the way I am, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's further than just me being an Aquarius. Like, it's all these other signs in my chart.
Yeah. I don't follow it like that. And like sometimes I listen to the people who do, and I'll be like, oh Lord, here we go.
It sound like a freak show.
Not even a freak show. It's just like, that is way too much research and like, it's a lot. And so with I think it's like what, CoStar or Star app or whatever that a lot of people like have and talk about. Even
I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. So that is, I mean, I'm sure some of you know, not all of you, but it's for your zodiac sign.
Okay.
So it's based on, you go in the app, you put in your name, your birthday. It asks you like time of birth, all that type of city of birth,
so it's like
all
of
that stuff. Yes. And then it tells you like, okay, like when you were born, and then based on all of this information, this is like your rising moon and your setting.
Your rising, your midheaven, your sun, your moon. Your
tells you where like part of you is like in Saturn and the other part like.
Yeah, it's
too much.
I love it though.
See, and for me, I think it's almost like overload. I'm like, I just can't even mess with it. I'm good. So that's where we differ clearly. Exactly. But at the same time, you almost look at it and it's like, but we're almost doing the exact same things in different ways.
Yes.
So we're bundling it up. We're packaging it differently.
Yeah. That's true. Packaging it differently.
So,
I love that.
Yeah, that's really what it like boils down to. But that's just funny because I'm like, it all sounds the exact same. And granted, like I said, I don't read too deeply into some of it, but at the same time, like I picked up a book. Like, y'all, I got a whole book. Like, can you see this?
Enneagram. She bought a book.
I'm reading it because I'm just like, I want to know, but also I want to be able to understand other people and have like relationships with other people. Yes. And just because like you know it, you don't necessarily know for sure that you know someone's Enneagram number, but to have an awareness that they could be this, it also helps you to operate in that space where it's like, okay, I can understand that like I'm just never gonna get this out of this person because of X, Y, and Z. This is who they are. Exactly.
Like, I'm an Aquarius. I don't fuck with Taurus, okay? Like, I got Taurus friends, but I won't date a Taurus. Oh, hell to the no. See? I am all about, like, the compatibility. Like, shit, I don't mess around. But that's good, though. Like, I'm excited to get some more information about Enneagrams. That's about to be another thing that I'm about to do. Like, I'm about to be on Pinterest for, like, 5 hours. I'm just, like, looking.
If you guys have ever done the Enneagram test, whether you did it online, whether you read a book, whether you just kind of came upon it and you looked into it and did some things, I want to know, what number do you think you are? Or if you know that you know, what number are you? Me personally, I've done the quiz a couple times. Like I said, I don't remember the first time. Once I got this book, I did like another one. And then I started reading through all of them because that's the one thing with Enneagrams. If you're going to look into them, you want to figure out your number, but you want to read every last one of the descriptions. Because again, you're going to operate in all of them at some point or the other. But you want to know which one is your strongest one. I will tell y'all, I was reading through these, and when I say that 2 straight up good at me, I said, okay, I'm a 2. Great. That's amazing.
What does 2 mean?
So 2 means I'm a connector. Okay. And my main values are like relational, empathetic, and helpful. And so it means there's very relational, generous, empathetic, people-pleasing, charming, caring, supportive, nurturing, intuitive, and possessive. Okay. And so, just reading through that, a lot of that, like, hit me. Okay. But the biggest thing with Enneagrams, too, is, like, especially with this book that I'm reading, which is why I love this book, and it talks about empowerment. It's because it not only just tells you what you are, but it's, like, what are considerations for growth? Because we all have areas of growth, right? And so for a 2, it says your key motivators are like to have deep relationships or to be needed and appreciated, to be wanted and loved. But your key fears are that you will not be wanted, you'll be unwanted, you'll be rejected and abandoned, and you'll be alone. So then your obstacles from that end up being emotional denial and self-neglect, over-dependence, and people-pleasing and manipulation. So obviously there's some areas for growth.
We're going to get rid of this. No, bro. Oh, Lord.
So honestly, there's some areas for growth. Right. It will read you for feelings just a little bit.
I mean, I thought that I got read in my natal chart. It told you your fears. And like Amanda said, like obviously these traits are natural and normal. Like you can fall within a lot of these numbers or feel connected. I think that is really interesting. And I love how he said like it empowers you.
Yeah.
But that fear part, that just kind of took me out. I'm like, damn.
Right.
You gonna tell me what I'm afraid of? Which is like, I kind of identify with two. And I kind of, them fears was like, oh, okay.
Right.
I'm a little afraid of being abandoned and unloved. Like, you read this whole book?
No, not the whole entire book. I haven't finished it. I bought it so many months ago, and back then I wasn't really like, again, like it's something I had heard about, right? And I was like aware of it, but I wasn't as like deeply like, let me do the research and just see. But I've been on such like a growth path and journey now where I'm like, honestly, yes, I know one way, but there's so much else out there. And I'm very much one of those people that stands on, if you don't believe for something, you'll fall for anything. Yes. And so I don't like looking into stuff too deeply or too much, because I just feel like it can lead you down a rabbit hole and you can get lost. But at the same time, I know my foundation. I know who I am at my core. I know what I stand on and believe in. 100%. And so I don't feel like that just means I have to like have blinders on and be ignorant to the other things that are out there. So I have started to like open up more, and like this was something that, again, I was interested in. So I was like, I'm willing to like invest some money in a book and like read about it and just see how it can aid in my growth. And so it's been interesting.
I love that. Like, I mean, the same thing when I started like looking into astrology and numerology. One, I kind of wanted to, I guess, understand a different part of like our history and our ancestors and our background. Like, religion is important, but like Amanda said, there are a lot of other things that we are just not privy to because of whatever reason, how we were taught or what we thought. And sometimes just doing a little digging will help you seek the knowledge that you want. But also you have to have that foundation, because you will fall for anything. And you will believe anything.
You can spiral very quickly.
Yeah, you can. Girl, I be going down the rabbit hole on TikTok all the time.
Right. TikTok, YouTube, it will take you there.
I love me a good conspiracy theory. Look, because Mr. Orlando Brown, he said Raven Simone is Drake. Like, what? I'm a little lost, because one thing on two shows that two.
Correct.
So hot hell, but you know what? Listen, I ain't even I'm gonna leave that alone. Right. But yeah, I think that's really good. And I just wanted to point out like this little quote on the back. It says the goal of the Enneagram is to help you find acceptance for who you are and freedom to become much more. Yeah. Wow. So this is definitely like a self-help book.
Right. Pretty much. Yeah.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
You guys are going to get a little bit of not an earful today, but like we said, Mercury Retrograde, Enneagrams, and Microbraids. No, for real though. Like, are you familiar with Mercury Retrograde?
I'm familiar with Mercury Retrograde on the side of humor. Okay. Like when people are just acting up. Yes. They just acting up. Look, I have no other way to put it other than just they acting up. That's when I hear about Mercury Retrograde. Okay. It's like, I know that it has something to do with the moon, as far as I'm aware. I don't know. Actually, I really don't know. I think it got something to do with the moon. I think it has something to do with the moon. Okay. Something to do with the planets. Yes. And well, moon controls water, right? So water? I don't know. Anyway.
No, that's all good though. Like, but spaces.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it does, it throws things kind of out of order. And then because people, based on astrology, operate in so many of these different planets and this and that and whatnot, that's how it then throws off the balance and like the emotions and things of people, which then leads to like people just wilding and acting up. And it's like, well, Mercury's in retrograde and it's going to be there for a month. So get ready for trouble.
No. Like, facts. Like I was saying, like when you know something, you operate in that space and give it energy or like fuel, you know? Yeah. But I am a very like instinctual person. I'm a very spiritual person. And obviously, like, I can't explain to anybody else unless they feel it too, but like, I can just feel things around me, like energy and stuff. And so before I knew what a retrograde was, I would feel when it would happen. I would feel the shift. I would know when something is going to happen. And at first I was just like, oh, you know, like, I'm just anxious and like, you know, whatever. But as I got older and I started doing more research, now, like, if things happen and I start to feel, I'm like, let me look up. Is it about to be Mercury retrograde? Like, I automatically kind of feel it happening. Just because I'm like super intuitive. But Amanda's right. It's like right on the money. Retrograde, which basically means something moving backwards. The planet Mercury appears to be moving in a different direction. Mercury is pretty close to the sun. So that's probably more reason why it's a greater effect on us, because it's so close to us. But it appears to be moving backwards. And so, which basically kind of takes everything else out of order. So you like, the natural way of everything is moving in reverse. So it's like, that's why people be acting up, because you're not naturally moving in the energy that you're used to. So you have to shift your mind, communication. You got to shift some things in order to, I guess, be balanced to the retrograde. It definitely affects communication. It affects technology. Unfortunate events occur, like stuff that you just probably would have never thought happened, or no. Your exes come back. People come back in your life. You might come up on some unexpected money. Really some things that basically wouldn't happen in a natural energy force. It tends to occur during a retrograde. That's the reason why we wanted to have this episode, is because we just left a retrograde. The last day of retrograde was May 14th. It was from April the 21st, I think, to May 14th. And it was a long time. And there's also a thing where it's like pre and post retrograde. So sometimes it can affect you in different times based on, of course, your planets, your energy, and the things that you got out going on. So that's how that's how I know when it's going to happen, because I can feel it. It's just, I'm sorry to say, I'm not a witch. I'm not like doing all practicing and stuff, but I know myself enough now at this big 31-year-old age to pay attention to what affects me mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that is one of them.
But like, also, I feel like being an empath. Because like, as an empath, we can feel like certain things, right? Like, I may not be able to feel that because I'm not like as in tune with that side of things as like Kay is. But like, I can definitely pick up energy in a room. I can definitely tell when somebody, especially if it's somebody I'm close to and I know, when they're off, when something is just not right. Like, and that's just about being like an empath. So like, in general, and there's a lot of people I feel like that are out here who are empaths, and you just don't have a name for it. So instead you feel crazy, or you feel weird, and like you haven't tapped into like that side of your emotions and been okay to just feel it and like sit with it. So now you feel very off and crazy, but it's like, look into it then. So
no, for real. Like, I legit, when I was growing up, I would legit feel like I'm a little like crazy, like some, you know. But I mean, as Black people, we are very spiritual beings. Like, this is our world, so obviously we're gonna be connected to something that's more divine, higher spirited than us, and we don't even know, you know. And let's just not talk about the fools and the radiology that is causing a lot of effects in our bodies today, where we can't be as strong intuitively as we normally probably would be, right? But that's a whole nother topic that we probably won't ever have on the show. But I did want to throw that out there. But yeah, so it could definitely affect like your energy, your mood, your communication, technology. But I wanted to bring it up today because, like Amanda said, it is a very funny topic. Everybody love to be like, oh, Mercury retrograde. Like, oh, y'all broke up. Mercury must be retrograde. Exactly. You know, like, but I definitely witnessed a lot of things happen this past retrograde that warranted this conversation. Like, I got a ticket. My car was towed. I'm like, what the hell? Like, some shit that will never happen usually, you know, out of the blue. My friend, she parked under a tree at her job. She said she never really parks there anyway. She came outside. it was like nighttime. She had dents all in her car. Her windshield was cracked. Like, it was so much stuff that had happened to her car. And like, she said she left her car an hour ago. And when she came back, she saw a big old branch on the side of her car, but it was nothing on the top of her car. It was just like a little debris. But the wind wasn't moving fast. Like, nothing was really going on.
That's
crazy. And, little stuff like that. Like, I definitely had some exes creeping back into my inboxes. And I think I even reached out to a few of my exes, like, hey, how you doing? Not to just be like, trying to get on, but like, hey, how you doing? Like, so not to say like when you start acting up,
right,
you blame retrograde, but it's definitely something to Google. Mm-hmm. It is very interesting to be going through something and you be like, out of the blue, if you just feel like the shift is off, mm-hmm. Google it. Mercury retrograde.
Right.
And it'll pop up, Mercury is in retrograde. You'd be like, damn, I'll be damned. Just like when communication, when you just feel like anytime you're trying to interact with a group of people, mm-hmm. or like get your point across, or you feel like your throat chakra is off, or something is not right. Like, you just cannot communicate properly. Every time you say something, somebody think you yelling or going off, mm-hmm. or it could possibly be a retrograde approaching. It could be a retrograde that had just left. And we go through several of them a year, right? Yeah. At least 3 to 5. Ooh, yeah. And I think last year's retrograde, I think it was like this November or some craziness.
That's wild.
I remember it. It was horrible. Like, everybody was going through it. Mm-hmm. And I ain't really be like, oh, it's retrograde, because, I don't know. They're like, no, here comes this spiritual motherfucker. But no, I just be paying attention to what's be going on. And sometimes a little Google will get you right. Yeah, we want to know if you had some weird, crazy shit happening to you these last, 5 weeks?
Yeah, literally.
Let us know.
Holla at us.
It was some amazing wins, but it was also some very troubled times, definitely with communications. And most of my job is communication. And I just was like struggling. Even in my relationship, I was struggling with communication. And me and my partner, we have a pretty good communication style, but mm-hmm. We couldn't get right. We couldn't get right.
Yeah.
We was acting up.
It'd be like that. People really be feeling it. Not knowing what they feeling, what they going through, but they be feeling it. Yeah. They be going through it. I'll just look into it.
Yeah, I would say look into it. And then just remember, anytime you feel a shift, regardless of its Mercury retrograde, our world is full of energy. So absolutely, you're going to feel things as things are going to shift. Just remember to slow down, mm-hmm. replan, revisit, and recharge.
Absolutely.
So you can be prepared for what's going on. And just honestly, y'all, slow down. I'm telling you, if you slow down.
It's the first time. Listen to Kay. Listen. She is correct.
Slow y'all asses down, because that's you will get a lot of your insight if you just slow down and listen and pay attention to what's going on. You will be fine.
Hey y'all,
I'm Kay.
I'm Amanda,
and we're your hosts of We Got Ish to Say,
an Everyday Vibe
podcast. We just wanted to drop in and say, don't forget to join our community,
an Everyday Vibe.
In this community, you have access to so much more.
Do it.
Do it now. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now. I ain't even gonna say no more. It did its thing. But it's gonna be some. It's gonna be some more coming up. I don't know how accurate the dates are, but it says it's gonna be one in August. So August the 23rd to September the 14th. December the 13th to January 1st. That's probably gonna be crazy because it's gonna be a new year.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's usually happen in season. So the 21st to the 14th was spring. I'm about to say, August to September is summer, going into fall, and then December to January is winter. Mm-hmm. So it's seasonal. It could, I guess, it's seasonal. I mean, when I was looking at some dates from last year, it was pretty seasonal.
That's very interesting because that almost leads into that makes a lot of sense for people who. And this could definitely be a topic for another podcast episode and whatnot, but something called SADS, which I hadn't heard about till last year.
Seasonal depression?
Yes.
Oh.
The seasonal depression.
Okay.
That actually could be tied in and like kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, yes, obviously the season itself, because we shift from like warmth and heat and people just being outside and together and around each other to like, ooh, now we hibernating and it's cold and it's gloomy outside and all that stuff. Like, yes, that's part of it. But then if you think about it, like now you're also talking about Mercury retrograde is mixed in with all of our seasons changing. And that means everything is out of whack too. Emotions, spiritual, like community, like everything. So that's a lot. Like that makes so much sense why sometimes those bouts of like sads is so heavy on certain people and can really lead to like, detrimental effects. So
that's interesting.
That's good to know.
It is interesting to correlate it to be seasonal, I guess. It's a reset.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm gonna go backward. Like we were just going forward and now we have a new season. I'm gonna go backward to kind of like make sure, I guess, realign. Right. And then it goes back in a sense, or not go back, but I guess give you a sense of like, was it supposed to really, was that win a real win?
That just makes you think of like time control and like altering time.
Yes.
Like, you remember that movie Click with
Adam Sandler?
Yeah, Adam Sandler years ago. That's what it almost feels like. It's like having this like remote, and then I'm just like
having this remote
control time.
And that's what I was gonna say.
Can't we time travel?
So listen,
there's no way to teleport yet. Like,
I mean, astral projection is real. People astral project all the time. But would I correlate that to like time travel? I don't know. I ain't say that.
Right.
But I'm saying I didn't know. I didn't heard people talk about astral projection, which a lot of the times come from when you reach a certain level of meditation. Mm-hmm. But also I was just thinking like, you know how they like push back the clocks and like they control the weather? Like, are they controlling retrograde? Can they control the planets? What is going on?
Why is it that some states have freaking the time zone switch, like daylight savings and non-daylight savings, but other states don't?
Isn't it governmental though?
Well, but how? Why? Bruh, this blows my mind. I can't have this conversation because I don't get it, and it annoys me. I don't understand how you can control the sun. Because that's what I'm saying. Right. Like, when we're talking about daylight savings and non-daylight savings, we're talking about sunlight. Like, that means if it's not daylight savings, it's getting dark at like 5 o'clock, 5:30. If it is daylight savings, that means it's not getting dark until 8:30. So how are you controlling the sun in some parts of the state and not the other when the shit is supposed to be in the solar system just wrapping around on a system? Like, I don't understand that. It blows my mind when we talk about the time changes. Like,
you freaking me out now because now I'm just y'all didn't heard on TikTok that we under a dome. They turned off the lights. Oh my God. They turned the sun off.
Oh my God.
And then when it's summertime, they turn it on.
Bruh,
I don't see. This is a rabbit hole. I ain't trying to put none of y'all head. I don't know what to believe. I know I thought it was a space.
It bothers me. I don't know. Every time we talk about it, it just bothers me. I remember one year we were talking about putting it on the ballots if we still wanted it in California or not. Yes. I'm like, how do we put something on a ballot to control the solar system?
The solar system.
Somebody gotta tell me. I really need answers. Like, I've been trying to wrap my brain around this for so many years now, and it's really just blowing my mind every time. I can't get it.
This conversation, y'all, I'm telling y'all, be going down the rabbit hole on TikTok, bro. They said that space is in the water.
Huh?
They said like it's a reverse. They said like when like this is a dome up here, right? They say that's a dome up there, but like when you think about when NASA, when they be exploring and doing all this other shit, they really exploring like
below
the water, because we already know the ocean ain't been explored. They said they saying that the astronauts, they be lying. They ain't even in the space. They said they be green screen. They underwater. The fuck is going on? Okay, I'm done.
We gotta stay off the internet.
I gotta stay on TikTok. I gotta stay out of the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. But yeah, like, let us know what you think. If y'all be into the conspiracy theories, let us hear them. Like, I'm all into the Mandela effect.
Right. Look. Correct.
No,
we want to hear it.
We want to hear it. How y'all experience retrograde this past month. What y'all got coming up? If y'all ready for this next retrograde, I ain't.
Do you plan your stuff around retrograde? Like, do you plan the things that you do or don't do around retrograde? We want to know.
Yeah, they say don't buy nothing new. Don't buy no technology. Be careful in the cars. Like, just be careful. They say just slow down and be careful because a lot of the unfortunate events occur during that time. I wonder if the car accident rate is higher during retrograde.
Oh, that would be interesting to know.
That'll be interesting to pull a report.
Like when planes go missing, does that be during retrograde or like
where they go?
Hello, that's what I want to know. How does the whole plane go missing?
They
go
behind
a black box.
They go behind the dome. Over the dome that they say that Earth.
That was a really good show. Do y'all remember that show Under the Dome? That was a great show. It had like 5 seasons.
It's basically Earth is a dome.
So yeah, so literally it's like they're in this town and they're in this town living their life, but somewhere something happens like in the midst of like a night or whatnot, and they wake up and yes, literally a huge dome has been placed over this town. And so now nobody realizes it until a certain thing started happening. Like literally, like the dome is controlling like the weather. It's almost Hunger Games. It gives Hunger Games feel when Hunger Games started like putting them on the board and then they would spin the clock. It's giving Hunger Games Under the Dome. Right. And so they started doing all these things, and like finally someone reaches and realizes there's an edge to it, so they get to it, and now they're trying to see how do you get out of the dome, and like it just gets crazy. Like they can see on the other side of it at a certain point because like they've tampered with it, trying to get out of it. They've tampered with it, so now they can see on the other side of it. They can see that like cars are like coming and going, kind of like watching it. And crazy enough, cars will like drive and like get to this part of the road where they should be able to keep going, and they can't go anymore. It's like, and they can't see the dome though. They don't know there's a dome there. They're just not understanding what. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
That sounds
it's a great series. It's a great series.
That sounds insane. Did you see the Truman Show?
No.
That's a movie.
No, I never even heard of it.
It's probably like kind of like the Dome. Oh. It's about a guy. Literally, his whole life is a TV show. He doesn't know he's on TV.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so he tries to like change up his whole life because he's like, one day it clicks to him like, why is my life the same every day? His life is, I'm sure y'all probably seen the Truman Show. It's with Carrie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's called the Truman Show, and he tries to escape, and when he goes to the wall, everybody's like, no, Truman! No, so he think he running, he think he finna go all off into the the grass. It's a damn wall. Wow. So he climbs it. Well, first of all, he like break that bitch down until like it blacks out. So it's basically like the whole dome is like,
that's crazy
for the whole world to see into
the
TV universe. And he breaks the bitch down and he climbs up the wall and he accesses the studio and all that stuff. And they basically tell him like, you ain't going nowhere. This is your life.
Wow. That's crazy.
They like, you gonna give up your house, your wife, your car. Like everything was planned for him since the time he was born.
That's insane.
It is insane.
Well, we just gave y'all 2 things to watch. If you haven't watched them, go watch the Truman Show. Go watch Under the Dome. Those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand how the hell you get a dome around the whole goddamn map.
Where did you build it? How did you drop it?
When was it here? Like, is all this water here? Like, what?
Questions.
I don't understand. But we gonna leave it at. We don't need to know everything.
Right.
And
so y'all have fun digging deeper. Like not on some like petty, like for real. Have fun digging deeper. But I would advise, if you do not have a foundation of something, you don't fully like know what you believe in, what you stand on, don't go crazy with it. Don't
you better pray about it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go crazy like following all these different things, looking at this, looking at that, because 1, you will go down a rabbit hole. 2, you will drive yourself crazy. 3, we don't need you on the internet being the person that is like
going crazy.
Exactly.
And 4, you won't get no sleep. Because you're going to be scared to go to bed.
Exactly. So, yeah.
You don't think they're going to be knocking on your door because you know too much information.
So, learn your Enneagram number. Take that how you want it. Get empowered through it. Don't get crazy with it. Yeah. Don't tell other people what you think their Enneagram numbers are, because not everybody is ready for that type of information or work. So, you could do damage rather than helping. If you think Mercury is in retrograde, watch your words, because clearly it affects communication. So
Watch your back.
Shut up.
Watch
Kay.
your computer and your phone start glitching.
It already listened to you, so it don't matter. Like
This phone, my iPhone just got everything we said. They're gonna be knocking on our door. Oh, you think it's a dome here?
It already listens to you, so don't get crazy. That was a fun topic.
That was a fun topic. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to tap in with us on Instagram at We Got Ish to Say Pod. We're also on TikTok at We Got Ish to Say Pod, and on Twitter we are at We Got Ish to Say with a number 2. We would love to hear your tweets. Tweet us, at us, comment on our TikToks, comment on our Instagram page. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more from me and Amanda.
We are bringing something new to the YouTube page pretty soon too, which we are so excited about.
Very excited.
Just a way to bring you all some extra conversation. We already be, going in, but sometimes it gets a little crazier, a little deeper. Sometimes just a little more silly. So
yeah,
make sure you stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow Kay at
I Am Sade Brand. That's for my personal page, and for my business page, Everyday People World.
Boom. And of course, you can find me at personal page smile_4_Amanda, or you can find business love vibes at lov.vibes. And we will see y'all on the next episode.